Good evening and salutations, my Days of Our Lives fans. So, coming into this episode, I. wow. So, there's some new characters or whatever that I don't really know the backstory of. So, if this review comes off a little rugged, I apologize, but again, it will get better in time as, I learn these characters and stuff. So, well, let's start off with John and Victor. So, Victor's in the hospital, literally like hooked up to like a heart monitor and everything like that. Apparently, he had a stroke. He was stabbed in the chest with a knife. Wow. So John comes in, and they start their casual talk and stuff like that. And Victor's like, "Oh, I'm surprised you're up and moving and stuff like that." And they do the little tit and tat or whatever for a little bit, and then John just starts laying into Victor about what he did to his son, and something about a baby being switched and thinking that I guess his son thinking that the baby was alive, and he really, the baby really wasn't alive or whatever. So he was just going in on him. He was going in on him pretty hard, and Victor was going back and forth with him, but John was laying it in thick, so thick that Victor started to have a cardiac arrest, um, and John was just like, all right, well, I guess I'll go and get a doctor. Not that you deserve it or something like that. So he goes in to get Kayla. Um, Now, as you know from yesterday's episode, um, Steve went to go talk to Kayla about trying to get back together. And of course, I knew this was gonna happen. He starts coming in talking about, well, first of all, he was talking about how he wanted to have a talk with her. And then Kayla was like, oh, listen, I want to thank you for, stopping Justin from killing Orpheus. And that just went on for kind of a while. And Steve was like, listen, I only did that, I didn't do it for Justin, I did it for you. And then, Kaylee says something along the lines of, well, so you told me if it wasn't for me, you wouldn't have did it. And I felt like Steve just kind of sidelined the whole question, like just sidestepped the whole question. And so, they're talking whatever about Justin and stuff like that. And then Steve was like, all right, you know what, let me get back on track and say what I'm going to say. So he starts to sit there and tell her how he feels, now he wants her back. But before he actually gets around to actually saying it, of course, John comes into the room and just like, oh, well, just let you know, Victor is having some problems and you need to go and take a look at him. And Steve just has that look like, really? Like, you really just had to come in here and say it now? Like, couldn't wait, like, I don't know, 2 more minutes? So anyway, Kayla goes to attend to Victor, and John and Steve are talking. And John is like, listen, I'm sorry to interrupt what was ever going on, but what was going on? So Steve was like, listen, I'm going to try to get back together with Kayla. Now, John is like, I thought the reason why you pushed her away so that way you wouldn't keep, like, messing up her life and upheaving her life and her happiness and stuff like that. And, what are you doing? So they go back and forth a while. And, Victor's like, listen, he talks about the key to the city and stuff like that, and about how he should stop feeling guilty about stuff that he couldn't control. Apparently he was under mind control, thinking that he was Stefano or something. But Steve was like, listen, I need to let go of the past and just kind of live in the present. And what I want is to be with Kayla and nothing stopping me. And John was like, well, Justin is kind of in the picture. So Steve was like, listen, the only reason why Kayla is with Justin is because, I was gone and I pushed her away and she thought I was gone or whatever. And that's, that was the only reason why. There's nothing that's stopping us, and I should just I should let Kayla decide who she wants to be with instead of me deciding for her. And John was like, well, when you put it like that, I mean, he didn't say that, but pretty much he was convinced, and he was like, listen, if you feel like that's right, go and do your thing. Now, pause. Anyway, so before we get into what happened, Justin was at his wife's gravesite, the cemetery or whatever, and he was sitting there asking his wife for like a sign, because he basically was like, listen, I want to marry Kayla, and I just need a sign from you, give me your blessing or whatever. And then he turns over and he sees his son, Sonny. He sees his son, Sonny. And so him, Justin and Sonny are sitting there talking about, Adrian. And Justin's like, listen, I want to know, he pretty much said something along the lines of, excuse me, I was looking for a sign from your mother, and you were that sign, and since you were really close to her, I want to know your opinion on me marrying Kayla. And Justin is walking around back and forth, pacing and stuff like that. I mean, not pacing back and forth, but he does that long, and then, Sonny's like, listen, I want you to be happy, and if Kayla makes you happy, then go for it. I mean, they talked about a lot of history, about something about Maggie, like, Adrian would have been happy knowing that Maggie wasn't the one that caused the crash. I don't know what that's about. But so I'm pretty sure that ties into Gabby or something. I'm not sure. Anyway, Sonny pretty much gave Justin his blessing. And so Justin goes to the hospital and he meets Kayla. And it's kind of weird because he kind of sneaks up on her too. Like, he does that slow look like, hey! And she's just like, but Justin's like, listen, I don't know how long they know each other, but basically he was like, I know we haven't known each other that long and everything, but, I love you and you bring me happiness and stuff like that. And, I just, then he proposed on one knee. He proposed on one knee and he's like, will you marry me? Now, earlier, and this is the reason why I kind of bring it back a little bit, because earlier, after I guess Kayla gave Victor some medicine to slow his blood pressure down or whatever, Kayla and Victor were talking, and Victor was like, well, first of all, Victor gave Kayla just this huge guilt trip about why she should be with Justin, and Justin was broken, and I don't know what Justin would have did without you and stuff like that. So I want to really thank you. I want to thank you so much for being with Justin. And you have Kayla to just like look so guilty, like she is. And honestly, tell you, I think that's what it really comes down to. She feels guilty. She barely doesn't want to leave him out of guilt, and also he's safe. Because Victor was sitting there talking, and what, hold on, I gotta sit there, and, because I wrote this was, an aging, Victor called Steve, because, Victor, what did Victor say? Victor was like, well, you shouldn't be going off, like, oh, he's, Justin's a lot better for you than Steve. I gotta pull it. Oh, he was like, Victor was like, well, it's better being with Steve. He's nothing more than an aging delinquent. Who calls somebody an aging delinquent? Well, I mean, for that matter, who still calls people delinquents? Except for Victor, and I'm not gonna lie, I kind of love that. I'm just basically sitting there laying it on thick about how Steve is bad for her, and he's always going off on one of his missions, and he just lives such a dangerous life, but Justin is always there for you, blah 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 blah. So he was really just laying it on thick, and so when Justin proposed to Kayla, Kayla was just kind of frozen with like fear, but not fear like, more like fear of breaking his heart, being with somebody that, let's be honest, she's not in love with him, but it feels like she's convincing herself that she loves him. Um, and just on a side note, there is a difference between loving someone and being in love with someone. If you ever been in love with someone, there's a difference. And I feel like, Kayla may love Justin for all his nice good doer, you know, I for all his good qualities, just being a nice guy and kind and all about justice and everything like that, do gooder. That's what I was gonna sit there and say. All those qualities, she's not in love with Justin, not like Steve. But yeah, she just has that fear in her face, like, I don't know what to do. And that's pretty much where the whole soap opera ends. Um, let's talk about Xander and Brady, because I gotta be honest, I have no idea what the hell is going on with them. They have some sort of back history where Xander was upset with Brady because, he got him fired from the job, and apparently they were doing this whole thing back and forth when they were getting each other fired and taking each other's job, and pretty much the last person that was standing was Brady. So they go back and forth about how some type of stuff that Justin did, that Xander did to Brady, involving a baby and switching, and I'm not really entirely sure. I'm not sure. Because it was really hard to follow. All I know is Xander must have switched Brady's baby with somebody with, I don't know. He did something bad as far as switching Brady's baby with somebody else and making Brady think that his baby is dead or alive. I'm not really too sure. But anyway, Brady, he wants revenge because from what I can tell, he doesn't he doesn't just want revenge on Xander. He wants revenge on Victor because I'm feeling like Victor is the one that set this whole thing in motion. So they're going back and forth or whatever, and Xander brings up Sarah about how, oh, you hooking up with Sarah or whatever, aren't you faithful or something like that? And then he was like, well, I don't even believe that you actually had sex with Sarah. And I didn't even know her name, so I just called her Hot Chick. But now I can just call her Hot Chick Sarah, because she's hot. So Sarah comes in, and well, before Sarah comes in, Brady's like, oh man, she just really does not like you. And then Sarah comes in, and Xander is like, oh well, you're not really, I don't think you're really no, he didn't say that. Sarah comes in, and first of all, Sarah's like, what are you doing here? It's like, damn. Brady's like, oh, he doesn't believe that me and you, what was the soap opera term? Play mattress tag? I think that's what somebody on General Hospital said. I think it was Sunny. And Sarah was like, oh, really? So she just starts a full blown making out with Brady right in front of Xander. Okay, I say that with such enthusiasm because there was just no given. Okay, she literally kissed him. She literally kissed Brady right in front of Xander's face. And I think after me and Xander was like, all right, we get it. All right, just wrap it up, please. Like, they stopped kissing or whatever, and he's all angry and stuff like that, and Brady's like, oh, he's like, I think he's all angry or whatever, and Brady's like, oh, well, you can't blame Xander. He's just cranky or whatever. He's just having a bad day. I mean, didn't you know he just got fired and something else that he said that just got under his skin. And so, Sarah's like, all right, well, you can go, you can get out. And Xander's like, well, no matter what happens, I still love you. And then he walks out, and I'm just sitting there thinking, are you serious? This chick just kissed another man in front of your face, and you just said, I still love you. Are you serious? Like, I had to rewind that because I could not, I don't know. I don't want to sit there and say I can't do it, but I don't know if I have the will or the strength to sit there and remotely even say that I love someone after they just kissed somebody else in front of my face. But I guess it's soap opera, so it is what it is. Hold on, let me just move this a little bit. Let me make sure that... Pause for a second. Okay. But, yeah, soap opera logic. Xander leaves, and then, they pretty much kind of just confirmed that they're just, they're not really sleeping together. They're just doing it to get under his skin. Then Brady's like, listen, it was nice, making Xander hurt a little bit. I'm like, just a little bit? But okay, sure, just a little bit. You hurt him just a little bit, but whatever. Brady's like, listen, I'm not even just gonna do that since, Victor took my baby. I'm gonna take his baby to the ground, and that's this company. I'm going to destroy it from the inside out, and then I'm gonna take him for. No. He was like, and then we're gonna take him for everything that he's worth. So apparently, Sarah is on board with this whole. Vengeance, taking down, Victor. Let's just see. I usually pause these things, but I just felt like I wrote a damn book at this point. Okay. So, I feel like this is more of just a running joke, and I know I'm coming in late in the party, but apparently this woman named Sammy is, let's just sit there and say she's passionate. And so you got Nicole, Will, Eric, and Marlene at the diner eating and stuff like that, talking about history that I have no idea. And then they're talking about who's going to be going to the wedding and stuff like that, who's going to be happy for them. And Nicole's like, well, I have one person in my family. Apparently they're family members or whatever. I don't know if that's her mother or whatever. I don't know. But basically, Nicole's like, listen, Sammy is not going to be happy. And, I need you, Marlene, to sit there and tell her that we're getting married. Because I'm just not going to do it. So Marlene is like, well, no, but Will, I think you should sit there and tell Sammy that those two are getting married. So they bounced, they play this game of you should tell her, you should tell her, you should tell her, you should tell her. And finally Nicole's like, alright, F it, I'm gonna tell her. So she gets on the phone and she tells Sammy that, that her and Eric are engaged and gonna get married. And of course you don't hear it because I don't know what's going on. Apparently Sammy is taking care of some guy called EJ. It's a weird name, but okay. I can see RJ, but EJ, I don't know. Anyway, she's not in Salem anymore. And anyway, she's on the phone, she's sitting there talking to her. And Nicole's like, oh, well, you know what? Listen, she was actually nice. She was cordial and she wished us congratulations and everything like that. And then Eric gets a text and he's like, it's from Sammy. And everyone's like, what's she saying? And Nicole reads it and Nicole's like, the text pretty much said, Eric, you actually gonna marry this bitch again? Are you crazy? And I was like, wow, okay, so Sammy seems really feisty. And it kind of sucks because I don't know if she's on the show anymore or whatever, but she needs to kind of come back on the show at this point because I want to see what this legendary Sammy is like. It's like on General Hospital if Carly left and people was like, oh, well, Carly was a force of nature. See, I watch it because I know that she's a force of nature, but if I didn't and I just jumped onto it, I feel like I don't know, she's on that same level, but I don't know. Honestly, to tell you the truth, besides that, it wasn't really much of anything except for Will at the end of their whole meeting thing. Well, at the end, people left the diner, whatever, and you just had Will and Marlene talking, and Will was like, we're gonna sit there and try to have another baby or whatever. That was it. And of course, when Will goes home, he talks to Sonny, and I think Will and Sonny both agreed. Like Will was like, we should have another baby, and that was pretty much about it. I guess I guess Will or Sonny has a child with Gabby. I'm not sure. Also outside of the diner, you had Eric and Nicole talking. And Eric was like, Eric and Nicole talking, and then you have Xander that comes in, and Xander's like, well, you need to go get your brother and tell her to stay away from Sarah. And Nicole's like, no, why don't you go and do it yourself? Do your own dirty work. And Xander's like, all right, I will. And so he rushes back over there. I don't know, it felt like kind of childish a little bit. It's like, it's like a little kid sitting there telling somebody else, oh, you need to sit there and go and do something. And they're like, no, we're not going to do it. I'm like, fine, I'm going to take care of it myself. That's literally what that scene just reminded me, like. And that was pretty much the end of it. This, the thing that really was just kind of jarring a little bit was when John was laying into Victor. Because you guys sit there and remember, this guy is like 80-something years old. And he's hooked up to tubes or whatever. He had a stroke. You know his history. And you're going to sit there and lay into him. Why don't you sit there and take a damn pillow if that was the case? Because the fact that he started having a cardiac arrest or whatever, and John is like, oh, well, I guess I'll go and get a doctor. Like, bro, seriously? I mean, I know you don't like him, and I get your reason for killing him, but if you're going to kill him, just kill him, okay? There was really no need to, like, rip into him to the point where he was going to have a heart attack, because if anything happened, you're responsible, and if that's the case, you might as well just kill him at that point. So, what the hell? And then on top of that, he comes back to the hospital room when, Victor is talking to Marlene. He walks back in there. And I'm just like, dude, what the hell are you doing back there? Are you just... Wow. Man, I'm not gonna lie. There's a lot of history with this show, and I want the thing is I want to come in. I mean, I look from time to time, but I want to kind of come in with fresh eyes. Like the same day where the first time, and this by the way, this review is over. I'm just gonna be rambling a little bit for a minute, so if you want, stick around. Um, but yeah, I can I mean, granted, I can sit there and do Wikipedia. I can watch some old episodes and stuff like that, but I want to kind of come into it with fresh eyes. The same way I came in when I watched One Life to Live. The first episode I watched was, I guess it was like a train crash or whatever. You had Will, you had Jessica, and you had Antonia, I think, was helping each other out of the train crash. And Bo was sitting there looking at them and just let them go, even though Will was, well, he was a fugitive at this point. He was still a criminal. And, I want to kind of come into it like that, where it's like, okay, I can kind of pick up the history a little bit and I can just kind of just watch it and go along with it. And same thing with Port Charles or General Hospital. I want to kind of just be able to just jump into it. And granted, I may not know everything, but I want to kind of just not being like scratching my head, like, especially when I do these reviews, because I'm just like, oh my god, what the hell am I? Sometimes I will sit, I mean, like today, I watched the first 10 minutes of it, and then I had to rewind it because it was so much information that was going on. I was just like, really? That was a lot of stuff that happened that I didn't watch, and how am I supposed to sit there and talk about that? But yeah, so, but this show does seem interesting, and again, it does remind me a lot of One Life to Live. Even the acting a little bit kind of reminds me of One Life to Live to some extent. I don't know, and I like some of the relationships I do like. I really do love the relationship that Justin and Sonny have. That good father and son relationship. Because you gotta sit there and think, how many shows have people watched where the son doesn't like the father for some odd reason? The father is just some sort of deadbeat dad or whatever that just doesn't want anything to do with his son and his children or whatever. How many times have you seen that in certain shows or whatever? It's nice to actually see, that good relationship between a father and a son. That bond between a father and a son, because yes, you always have that bond with your mother and stuff like that. It's an unbreakable bond. We all get that. We all know that. But how often do you get to see that with a father and a son? Also, I like John and Steve's relationship, their friendship. I think it's really cool. It seems like they go back, like they're like real old school, like cowboy type of characters. Especially how John is always sitting there calling Steve partner or whatever. So it's just something about that I just like. It's very old school, and I like it. So yeah, that's pretty much gonna do it for this recap. I'm sorry it's coming out so late, but well, tomorrow's Saturday, so I hope people can actually watch it tomorrow and rate comments and all that good stuff. And yeah, so that's gonna do it for this recap or this review of Days of Our Lives. Have a good day, good night, depending on when you're watching this. Monday, if I'm doing this same type of shift, my review may come out a little bit later, but I hope people do watch it. And let me know what you think. And yeah, so that's gonna do it. Be safe, all that good stuff, and I will catch you in the next recap or review.